Hello, welcome to Co-Creating with Cosmic Holly. My name is Holly. Today we are looking at the Aquarius quarter moon, first quarter moon at 4 degrees, 13 minutes Aquarius on October 29th, 2025. This moon is connected to last week's new moon in Libra, so we're expanding on our intentions or things that happened last week. If you didn't make intentions, you still have time to make intentions. So we're going to start to see what's coming out of an unknown period. Whenever we have the new moon, it is the dark time of the moon, and in that darkness there's all possibility. It's fertile time to put out there sort of what it is we would like to have grow in our lives. So we start to see growth, and sometimes that growth comes through maybe some tension, maybe some noticing what's not working, and also just seeing what's happening, what's starting to grow. So now we have the time to begin to kind of if we start to see some weeds growing, what is it that we don't want? We can remove those. And what do we want to continue to nurture? The moon's nature is to nurture. Aquarius is communication on a massive scale. Aquarius is a fixed air sign, so it is the power of thought as it takes form. It's focus. So the power of Aquarius really is to focus, and focusing on your vision, so that the abstraction of that vision can become a reality. So what do you want to make real? This moon is also connected to the Aquarius new moon that happened on January 29th, 2025. So if you set some intentions where maybe you weren't seeing growth after a week, I mean, sometimes we do see growth after a week. Sometimes it takes more time, or larger intentions. You might be getting some clarity. Or like we're getting clarity on, if we live in the United States, on what it means to have Trump in for a second term. It's been very interesting. So Aquarius also does rule the collective. It rules the people so there's this kind of bottom up kind of experience that I think, on a whole, we're just beginning to recognize, because we also now the moon in Aquarius is also conjunct Pluto, and it's trining Uranus. It's actually in a grand trine with Pluto and Uranus, and Pluto is in Aquarius as well, and Pluto rules all things that are unseen. It rules death, sex, spirits, ancestors. There's an initiation to the underworld, and we really have been going through this deep initiation. I think the regular people of the world, the non-billionaires, we're really going through this experience where we're being called to recognize our power. We're being called to recognize the power of our lives, of our vision. What can we do as a collective, like focusing as a collective, as a group? How can we help one another? And Uranus is in Gemini, and Uranus wants to experiment, right? This is a time where we start to try and to shift our vision to understand that if we try and we fail, it's still a step toward success. Life is in the attempt. And in Gemini, I've been talking about this for a while now. To name things is to invoke. We're learning with Uranus moving through Gemini that our words have power. Our words are magical. To speak is to cast spells, right? So I just can't help to think right now about how so much of what we kind of have taken for granted as a nation, Americans, is our First Amendment rights of freedom of religion, speech, press, assembly, and the right to petition the government is really like being challenged right now. And I really see that like expanding. That challenge is really like there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of confusion right now. And the thing with Aquarius, the moon in Aquarius, is that Aquarius is about clarity. It asks us to get clear. And focus helps us get clear. And so there's a lot going on in the collective sense. And then in a personal sense, like what are your, getting clear on what your intentions really are, what your intentions were from 9 months ago, what your intentions were from a week ago. And we have this energy of Pluto going, we're going to go deep with this because there's always an initiation to the underworld. And then with Gemini, using your words to like really allow the depth of your intentions, the depth of possibility, the depth of moving through obstacles with word choice, like allowing yourself to experience like how can you move through this experience in a poetic way, in a musical way, in a way that is expansive for yourself and for everyone. So that's the moon right now. Also what's happening is we have a grand trine in water. Like we have Mars at 25 degrees Scorpio. We have Jupiter at 24 degrees Cancer. We have Saturn at 25 degrees Pisces. And we have Neptune at 29 degrees Pisces. So there's this deeply emotional shift that's happening. And it's kind of this exploration of our feelings and our psychic energy. So they're really, I would suggest that we take the time to feel, like if you want to react, slow down and respond. Make choices, choose your words, and really allow your feelings to be something that is like if you can allow your feelings to be a message from the divine, right? Like if we thought about, like sometimes feelings can be inconvenient because they might not be productive, but they are messages. Like, what does your heart feel? What does your body feel when you experience whatever it is you're experiencing? Maybe take a little bit of time away from social media, as I'm making a social media video. Rather than reading little blips, like maybe read a book, like diving more deeply. Go for a walk, visit the ocean. This is a very watery time. Mars rules Scorpio. Mars is about desire, and we got to remember that all desire must take into account the well-being of the whole, right? That's how we honor Mars, to honor our desire. It's sitting and honoring the desire for the well-being of our world. Scorpio explores the realms of darkness, looks at alchemy. How do we turn lead into gold? And it's purified desire, right? We have the phoenix rising from the ashes. What is the music that the phoenix makes as it rises? What is your particular song? Scorpio is very rhythmic. There is a rhythm to Scorpio. You see, like, a lot of bass players are Scorpios. Like, what is your rhythm? Honoring your rhythms. Jupiter in Cancer, right? How do we honor Jupiter? By learning, by questing, by traveling, by feasting, by allowing an expansiveness to happen. Carolyn Casey says Jupiter is the expansive guardian of the crossroads. And when we get to a point right now, quarter moons are crossroads. We can say, and this is, open the path before me and grant me the opportunity to be of maximum good in the world. That is what Jupiter wants. And when it's in Cancer, the thing to remember is that what we tend to will tend to us. There's a the unseen world is there to help us, allowing the unseen world to be helpful. Playing with the idea, being curious with the idea that not all our helpers are seen. Okay. Saturn wants clarity. Saturn is the capacity to respond appropriately to the time's demands. There's so much to respond to right now. Its form, its structure, its boundaries, its discipline, its authority. We write our own lives. We're the author of our own lives. And right now, it's back in Pisces. It made it into Aries, and now it's dipping back into Pisces to kind of like get a little bit more information. What was the collective dream? I mean, Pisces is the unconscious. Pisces is the collective. It's collective possibilities. Dipping back in, Saturn dipping back into Pisces. Pisces wants us to author a story that is full of awe and wonder and mystery. And once it leaves Pisces, which is going to be very soon, like over the next couple of months, Saturn won't be visiting Pisces for another 29 years. And then Neptune, which is the ruler of Pisces, has also backed into Pisces. And Neptune's about transcendental beauty and art that is inspiring, and whatever reminds us of our mystical kinship with all beings. And again, there's those words we think of when we think of Pisces is awe, wonder, and mystery. What gifts can we take from Pisces right now? What like awesome gifts, what mysterious gifts can we bring into the rest of our lives? Neptune's going to leave Pisces over the next few months, and when it does, it won't come back for almost 200 years, 80 something years. So we are not going to experience Neptune again in our lifetimes. I would even say Neptune backs in to ask you like what your truth is. Right now, there's once it moves into Aries, we're kind of getting clarity on our dreams, and then when it moves into Aries, and when Saturn moves into Aries, we're going to be experiencing this wanting to act on those dreams. Right now we're like, okay, what are the lessons? Let's get them, these final lessons of Pisces, and then that's it. For some of us, that'll be the last time we experience Pisces in this lifetime, in both Neptune and Saturn moving through Pisces. So it's a grand water time. A grand water trine is like showing us that, you know, so much of the unseen world, so much of what is awesome and inspiring, and so much of our feelings, which maybe aren't productive, so much of our creativity, so much of our intuition is really moving and churning right now. And I think it's a really good thing. I think it's a really good thing. With all of this energy in water and so much of this strangeness in the world right now. Like, what is it that you really feel? What is it that works for you? And how does it work for your community? And how does it work for the world? How does it work for the collective? And even doing a little, like, you know, maybe doing some rituals toward the unseen world, right? Like, doing the moon intentions is a thing. It is a thing that where you're setting intentions, you're creating a vision that does honor. I mean, we see it, but when the moon is new, it's unseen. So it's honoring this unseen part of the cosmos and letting ourselves move with those cosmic energies and openings. There's a lot going on right now. You know, with all the water, we can also feel maybe a little bit of overwhelm. This may be a time to rest if you can. Write down your dreams, and then see if you can turn if you can find words or ways to communicate your intuitions, your dreams, your feelings, and allow them to be magic. Allow them to be magic. Uranus is moving through Gemini right now, and we're learning how we can use our words in a way that's empowering and magical, and creating the world, really. Creating the world. So, it's an immersive time. Even though I know that I was talking about the moon, right? But really, like, on the grand scheme of things, it's really an immersive time. It's really a time to decide, to focus, and that's Aquarius, on what it is you want to be immersing yourself in. Okay, one card passed, jumped out. Yay! So cool too, this card. I'm gonna get one more. And too many cards. I'm gonna need all those cards. Oh, the card that did pump. Okay, perfect. Okay, so the first card we I drew for this Aquarius moon is the star, which is Aquarius. And then the second card, and it's actually reversed, is the Two of Cups. So first we'll look at Aquarius. So just like I was saying, focus, hope, dreams, bringing the bringing the abstract, bringing the vision into manifestation. So this is the beginnings of manifestation. And this contains the whole universe. It's pretty amazing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 7 ancient planets, creating an opening for, it's the cosmos. It's, working with the cosmos to create a new world. So that really is the energy this week, the energy for everyone. The energy for this moon is to focus on your vision. Don't become distracted with bullshit that isn't yours, while understanding that we are a collective, right? But there's this thing with Aquarius that, yes, people are like, oh, they're collective, but there's also this, where are you aligned as you're working, as you're existing in the collective? But really what I want to say with the star is focus, it's hope, it's really like keeping your eye on the vision so that you begin to draw opportunities to you for actually manifesting that vision. And we have the Two of Cups, which is this there's like a new emotional energy, a new excitement in how to manifest, in like you have this idea, and right now it's like, how do I balance? It's like there's this initial rush of energy, this initial excitement, and you've come to this point where you're trying to balance your inner world and your outer world, and you're not, and there may be this feeling of that isn't really possible, but it is, because this card was drawn, even though we see it reversed. It's kind of like this energy is coming up, and it might not be so apparent that there are people that you relate to that may help you bring your vision into manifestation. But there are, it's a quiet rising. It's a quiet sense of your feelings and your intuitions. Like when it's reversed, it's more like an intuitive nudge. So you may be beginning to get ideas regarding your vision toward manifestation through ways that might not seem so obvious. Like you might be getting messages through dreaming, through just hunches, through through like hearing someone, you're walking down the street and like something catches your ear, you know, like you may just hear like a bit of a conversation sort of floating in the air. You might open a page to a book and be like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Or like, oh my God, what if I followed this? Like, so there's this intuitive sense of the next step. The next step is not blatant. The next step, or the step toward your vision, comes in through the unseen world. Okay. That is that for the Astro Luna Tarot for the first quarter moon in Aquarius. I hope this was helpful. I mean, this is Aquarius. It's so wild that it came up. And if you'd like to get a reading with me, you can go to holly-troy.com/tarot and you can book a reading with me through my website. If you'd like to get a reading with me in person, you can go to medicamagica.com and book a reading with me there. Okay. I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you for the full moon in Scorpio, not Scorpio, Taurus next week. Peace.